This week's one, guys, I've got a few little bits and pieces to clean up the car that have come in, and I actually want you to put in the comments during this video if you notice anything different about this video from any other previous video before. I'm not going to give you a hint at what it is, but I will tell you at the end, and it's hopefully to make these videos a bit better. But first off, if you remember the boot nearly dropping on my head when I was pulling the struts out, I did not know that Senator is different, or HSV in general is different to SS, Bellina, Calais, Executive. All the boot struts are the same for those cars, and then HSV is different again. Why they did that, I have no idea, which it actually makes zero sense, because these were just, I can't remember if the Senator was a Bellina or a Calais that was just pulled off the line and made into a HSV. So why the boot struts are different, like mounted in a different spot, they're actually an inch longer. So these were actually a massive pain in the ass to get, because if you run the rego on this car into any computer system like at Bursons and stuff like that, it just comes up as a Commodore, which means the boot struts they give you are obviously wrong. So I had to go to Struts Australia. Thank God Struts Australia is about 10 minutes from me. In about 2 seconds they had me a set. So all they did was match the pressure, which is listed on the side of the struts, which were actually wrong in this car. It had the right length struts, but the pressure was wrong. So the struts aren't actually stuffed, they're just the wrong ones. And going by the numbers on the side, I don't know what this N means. If you look here, so this is the new one. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Where's this N number? It says 630N right there. So what that is the pressure. Now the ones that were in this were like 300 and something. So I don't know what they were from, but they were definitely wrong. So they weren't holding the boot up. So I had to get the right pressure off a mate's car, off his struts, and then you just show them the length and the pressure, and they just get you a strut to suit. And that's exactly what they gave me. So let's replace these finally. Just to show you, this is the ones that were in it. And if you look at the pressure number, is 375, which is way off. So this is my current boot strut setup, which is a jack pole. So let's pop these old ones out, which are fine, they're just wrong, and put the new ones in. Would you look at that? Lucky I'm small, I tell ya. Now the moment of truth. It's super hard. Hopefully they wear in a bit. But let's do the spring test. Alright, the next one is, if you remember, I hate this car cover. It's like a cardboard, but it came with the car, so I'm using it to like another one. It came with these just generic crappy mats. I did come across some genuine VR VS HSV mats, but the driver's one was pretty worn, and for the amount they were, I'll be honest, they were $400, and the driver's one was stuffed. I couldn't justify it. There's no way. So I went down the aftermarket route. Which are these right here? And goddamn, they're heavy. So, as you can see, as they're supposed to be. If you're wondering why wouldn't you go grey the same as the carpet colour, because I put grey ones in the VN and I regretted it after the first drive. The really light grey that the carpet is gets dirty very, very easily. You'd have to like pressure wash it or wet vac it every time you vacuum the car. So I went down the black route, it's a lot safer. They can get dirty and still look good. And finally, chuck this junk in the bin. Look at that, much better. I'm liking my black decision as well. Grey would have looked good, but too hard to maintain. Go to shit too quickly. Now our next thing to tackle is right here. If you remember this noise, from previous titles like VR Senator, VN Commodore, VL Commodore, they're all the same shit. I've bought a new striker, which is like the hinge part here that sort of lets it, you know, come out in stages like that. Very, very common to go on these, just Commodores in general. But I was very scared to try and pull this door trim off, just because there's a lot of HSV specific things going on here that if I break, I know I'm not going to be able to replace. I have to say, Holden, what the hell? Why is there so many screws holding this on? There's 2 here, 1 on the end, 1 here, 3 here, another one on the top. one behind here, two inside here, and I thought, why the hell is this not coming off? Turns out you got to pop the vents out as well, and there's another two hidden behind there. Like, come on. Be more like the Japanese. One screw and a million clips. And all this stuff's super dirty, like the vents and shit, so I'll give it all a clean while it's out. I don't really want dust in my face when I'm turning my aircon on. I was about to say, how the hell am I going to get the door trim past this? But there's a plug right here. Idiot. Oh, that's going to be a pain to get back through. That's cool. And they're definitely not factory speakers, unless, I don't know, HSV guys are the factory speakers. I just realized, like, what the hell am I leaning on? My tag is still on this new jacket I got. Are the factory speakers green? Tell me, HSV guys. Alright. Turns out it's not stuffed. If you look right there, there is a 10mm missing, like that one above it. So that's what the noise is. But I've already bought the part, so I'm going to replace it anyway. But I could have just saved myself some money, but I can tell you, guarantee that thing's noisy anyway with the bolt back in it, because they are on every Commodore. Now I did say 10mm, but it's an 8mm on the inside there. And pop the pin out. Like so. And there's your door striker. Here is our nice shiny new one that hopefully does not make any noise. Now of course there's an issue. If you look at the old one versus the new one, the old pin versus the new pin, the eyelets on the end here are different sizes. So I'm going to have to drill this one out, because if I use the smaller pin and leave this end, it's going to wobble about in the door. If there's one thing you can take away from this video, it should be that always match your shop rags to your jacket. That's better. Now I'll be honest, as you can hear, it's still a little bit noisy. Definitely not like it was before, but better. And I actually greased the absolute shit out of it as well. This is what it is. There we have it, all back together. Now, I did mention in a previous video how good these orange things were that are on the lock knobs up here on each door trim. It looks like I broke this one getting it off. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. The two clips are broken on that side. And to get them off with a pick, you sort of really rough up the edges of these. Alright, I'll buy a set of 4. Twisted my arm. But there we go, all back together and sort of no more noise. Now if you remember a few videos ago, I showed you how screwed this sticker was, which I have now replaced with one from Stick This. And I also grabbed the SRS stickers. I got 2 thinking the car was missing one, and then I was informed by everyone that it only has a right side one because it only has a right side airbag, obviously. And I did actually film the old sticker peeling off, new one on, but I managed to film that all in mute, so I'm filming this again. And I was also told, if anyone can shed some light, I was told that when replacing this sticker, if I'm going to buff or polish this piece, not to go too hard because it's painted. But from what I can see, it looks bare plastic. So can anyone enlighten me on whether this B-pillar mold is bare plastic or painted, and am I going to rub through it when I try and polish it? Because it's discolored. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you'll be able to see where the door seal sits. So I'd like to bring that back. And last thing I'm going to show you guys in this video are these puppies right here that I got. So, part numbers as usual. Now if you remember, I spoke about how I need to paint the front bar on this car. Now I don't know whether I'm doing bonnet yet, because to do bonnet I've got to blend the guard. So I'm still undecided on how far I'm going with the front end, but definitely the bumper's getting painted. So I managed to get genuine, brand new in the box front indicators, both sides obviously, so that's those there. And brand new genuine headlights. Still in the condom wrapper. Glass, mate. Look at that. I'm going to put these away until we do some front end paint work, and I'll put this all back together, all brand new with the front looking all fresh. But what a score those were. Thank you very, very much, Admir. Now to finish this one off, at the start I said to put in the comments if you notice anything different about this week's video. Two things, audio and camera quality. Now this is what I usually film on. This is my GoPro Hero 10. I've always filmed with GoPros. I've had the 1, I've had the 2, then I skipped a few. I had like the 5 and then the 8 and then this one. And these are really good for when working on cars because they've got a fisheye lens, so you can have it really close to you but it has a broad picture. But the quality's not the best, you can't zoom, you can't focus. On car action stuff, 100% I'll still use this. But I did buy, and I'll switch over to the GoPro to show you, this new Sony with a microphone. So let me know if you like, I don't know, what the video is looking like. Well, you know what, it doesn't matter, I've already bought the camera, so I'm gonna be using it. Just, I'm very scared to break this, whereas this, I sort of just, you know, using it, drop tools on it, throw it around, slide it across the floor, and it doesn't matter. But Sony one wasn't that cheap, but the quality and audio should be a lot better. Regardless, see you guys next week.